Alright, everybody, it's time for a Patron review from one of my patrons, Jeannette Spevak. Tell me how to pronounce your name, because I'm tired of just guessing. Write it out in a way where I can, know how to say it. I've never seen this last name before. I don't know how to pronounce it. Spevak. Tell me. So, she requested that I do Killer Fish. It's a killer piranha movie. It's called Killer Fish. It should have just been called Killer Piranha. But this movie's about a bank robbery. They steal these jewels. This group of, thieves. They steal these jewels and they hide the jewels in the ocean. And they have to wait 60 days for some reason, and then they're gonna get it then. But then the one guy who's in charge of the leader of this group, he plants a bunch of piranhas down there to guard the jewels. And if one of his teammates goes to try to retrieve the jewels before the 60 days is up and take the money while they're not looking, they're going to get eaten by fish, piranhas. So I like that. I like that concept. It's very silly. So that's my first positive, is I like the explanation for why the piranhas are here. Because usually in these movies, it's always like some kind of experiment. The government's involved somehow, toxic waste, you name it. There's always something, some kind of pollution statement being made, or the government's evil, something like that. You see it time and time again. But in this one, it's just like, no, it's just this thief who's planting these eggs down there, and there's tens of thousands of them now. He says they just keep spawning more and more very rapidly, and he's using them to guard the jewels. I'm not sure why they're just staying in that one area. It's an ocean. Couldn't they? What if he just put them down there and they just went off? I don't know. But I like the explanation for why they're down there. It's not so typical. And the photographer character, he's the only character in this movie that's remotely interesting and funny to me. So I liked his character. And I thought the acting was fine. It's nothing Oscar worthy, but you got Karen Black in here, and that's really it that I recognized. I didn't really recognize anybody else, but the acting was fine. It's shot decently. There's a couple of funny miniature shots later on in the film. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say positive about it. It's been a few days since I watched it, so I should have recorded this a lot sooner. Maybe I would remember more to say, but I just don't. That's really all I liked about it. So let's get into the negatives. First up, the first half of this movie, it just drags for me. This movie's too long. It's over an hour and 40 minutes, and it could easily be an hour and 30, hour and 25. I think you could trim it down, especially the first act of the movie. And let me tell you this. If you didn't see the title card in the opening and you didn't know what you were watching and you just threw it on for some reason, you would never guess that this was a Killer Fish movie until over 35 minutes into it. Because that's how long it takes until the first attack. So it's I threw this on already knowing. I was just like, okay, where's the Killer Fish? Where's the piranhas? I was questioning for a moment, did I put the right movie on? It said Killer Fish, didn't it? It takes over 35 minutes to get to that first attack, and it was just not necessary. You could have trimmed that whole beginning heist down some. It was just too long. And the bite effects in this movie, they didn't even try. They show these things, they showed the aftermath of a couple of bodies later on, and they're skeletons. So these things are chewing down to the bone. They're taking every ounce and inch of flesh off of their body. But this guy is getting attacked by them for a full minute, and when he gets dragged back onto the boat, he just has a few red spots on his arms and legs, but there's no missing skin that you can see, no chunks missing. You would expect there to be more blood. This should have been Piranha 3D and have flesh hanging off of them, just lots of nasty carnage. That's what this movie is missing, because it's not a fun movie. It's really not. And there's just a lot of characters too. Too many. You got two separate groups, and at some point over halfway through they get together, and now they're stuck on the boat in the last act, and there's just not a lot of tension between the characters, not a lot of good moments there, a lot of dialogue. It's not really interesting. It's just them stuck on the boat for about 15-20 minutes towards the end, and it's the boat's slowly sinking, so I guess that's tension there. But I don't know, it's just I wasn't feeling it. This movie is not really that good at building the suspense, that no ticking clock situation where you're on the edge of your seat, like, oh my god, they gotta get out of there. Like, I don't know. It's just there's so many characters, and I don't give a shit about any of them because they're thieves. A and B. There's like no development between quite a few of them, and yeah, there's just there need to be better effects, some gore, not make this PG, trim some of the beginning, just trim this down some, and have some better characters in this movie. And I would have liked it a lot more, because the body count's very low. How many people die in this movie? 3, maybe, about 3 people, 4. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a few days since I watched it, but not a whole lot. Nothing memorable. So I don't know. It's hard. I don't think I can really recommend this movie. If you like Killer Fish movie, this is just like a mediocre, average, late 70s, early 80s kind of Killer Fish movie, but it's not really all that entertaining. So I honestly can't recommend it. So when it comes to Killer Fish, if you like this genre of film, maybe consider checking it out because it's not terrible, but it's not really all that good either. But if you're just the average moviegoer and you're looking for a good killer fish or creature feature kind of movie to check out, this is one that I don't recommend you hurry up and put on your watch list or anything, because to me it was just kind of wasted time. Alright, time for a spoiler discussion. So in the opening here, we got the Jewel Thieves, and it automatically lets you know that it is the 70s because the music in the open is like very disco and kind of jarring. And then this helicopter didn't see the driver really. Like, they get the jewels, they plant them in the water, and then the guy like does the thing where he like pretend crashes the car, like trying to buy them time, and they make them think for a moment that their bodies are in the burning van. But it's like the helicopter was right above them when it happened, when he like dove out. There's no way that they didn't see him and didn't catch him running through the woods, limping, like injured. Bullshit. And then we get some Italian slapping, because this is an Italian production film, right? Directed by an Italian guy named Antonio Margheriti. Margheriti. You gotta say it with your hand, right? Inglourious Bastards. That was Eli Roth's name, right? They're like going over their names real quick. Like, all right, what's your name? Margheriti. Oh, I love that movie. So, and apparently that character was named after this director, who I believe did Cannibal Apocalypse with John Saxon, and I was not a fan of that movie either, but I think this one's better than that one. So, I found Waldo. He's in this movie. So this guy has like a heart attack, or we find out later on that it was all bullshit. He was just pretending to have like a disability. That's why he couldn't go on the heights, and that's why he can't go in the water to retrieve the jewels later or something. I don't know. But he's like saying to the Karen Black, like, we can't have sex because of my heart attack, and I'm thinking, like, I don't care. If I'm older and I have a heart attack and my doctor tells me that I can't have sex now because of it, I don't care. Like, I would still fuck and die hard, like Bruce Willis. And so then we get this obese gay photographer. No, they say he's like bisexual in the movie, right? Whatever. So we get this photographer, and I wrote down smart profession, very smart. Maybe not for a gay guy because he's not gonna have sex with the women, but as a straight guy, that is a great profession to have, taking pictures of women naked. And we get some boobs in this PG movie, not like shirtless boobs, but like the white t-shirt that gets wet and you see her boobs, like Allie in Sleepaway Camp 2. So that was nice to see. And then like after the first guy gets killed by piranha, the brother goes back to the other people and he's like, I think it was a snake. Really? You thought a snake did that? Like, he didn't even see what was going on exactly. He just thinks it was a snake. Like, did he think like Anaconda was down there fucking his brother up? I don't think so. I thought it was funny that the one guy, he's like, I swim faster. He's like so confident that he's going to go down there and get the jewels. He's like, don't worry, I swim fast. I swim faster than fish. And quickly learns the hard way that he doesn't swim that fast. Like, as soon as he gets attacked, for some reason, his legs just don't work. Like, he can't, or his arms, like, he can't just swim the 5 feet to the dock and reach up. It was just a little ridiculous. Like, why is he so, like, stuck in that one spot? He can't move forward. Like, other people later on can, but this guy can't. And then he, like, shoots the harpoon and, like, gets the other guy and drags him down with him. So that was just a silly scene. I thought that was pretty funny. And then both of their corpses are found later on, and they're chewed down to the bone. But then later on, like I said, there's people who are getting chewed up for like a full minute or two, and when they get back on the boat, they just look like they got scratched a little all over their body. It's like, oh, come on. No, there would be a lot more damage. So, and then we get lots of like obvious miniature shots of the boat, even like the helicopter when it crashes, you can see like a dummy inside the helicopter. It was pretty funny. And so, and then like the boat starts shaking violently. Like the dam breaks. There's like a tornado all of a sudden, and it breaks the dam, and all the water goes rushing in, and like the boat's like shaking, and like everything inside's moving around. But then after the water settles, you can see like all these items on this shelf that are still sitting there. It's like, no, that would have been on the ground. They would have been more fucked up. They would have been tossed around like rag dolls. That was ridiculous. So, and then we almost get a kid die in this movie. Almost. They teased me, but we didn't get it. This kid walks into the water, and immediately his ankle starts getting chewed up, but he just walks 6 inches behind him, and now he's back on shore because he just took like one step in, and that's all it took. The piranha was already right there. So then they get like this raft, and for some reason they don't just go one at a time, or like just send one person out. The one chick gets on it, and then the obese, like huge photographer is like, "I'll go with you." No, 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 no. This small, like little makeshift raft they just built out of scraps of what, I don't know. Like, that guy's gonna sink it, and of course he does. Like, it starts to sink, he falls in the water, but the chick makes it to shore. It's like, I just laughed at that scene too. It's like, what are you thinking? You're gonna take that guy with you? No, he's gonna weigh it down. It's just ridiculous. And so, and then they basically go like dynamite fishing. This is how they're killing the piranha. They're throwing like bombs out of something and throwing in the water, killing the fish. And so then this dude should have had nastier bite marks. I wrote that down. So that's how much it kind of angered me in a moment. It's like, dude, this guy needs to have nastier bite marks. It doesn't make sense. And he's like ignoring all the pain too. When he's getting chewed up, you don't see it on his face at all, but they keep cutting back to the close-up shots of like the piranhas like taking his flesh off, but you don't see that amount of damage later on. But in the moment, he just looks fine. He's like just got so much adrenaline going, I guess. And he's trying to get on the boat and take the other guy off who's like betraying them, and he keeps getting hit in the face with like the oar, and he's just like barely flinching. Like this guy has so much adrenaline, he can't feel any pain from anything, and he won't like freaking like block any of this guy's attacks. Like he hits him and does the same thing 4 fucking times. He gets up and the guy goes bam, and then he stumbles, and then he comes back up, bam, whack-a-mole, and then does it 3, a 4th, a 5th. It's like, you're at this point you should know what he's going to do and try to block the next attack. But he just keeps letting this guy whack him on the head like a whack-a-mole on the head with the fucking oar. It's like, this guy is ridiculous. I mean, I think he's making him like mentally retarded with each hit, knocking brain cells out of his head. I just thought that scene was stupid as well, but in a funny way. I enjoyed that. So but yeah, then at the very end, they get rich. They get to live a rich life. They escape, and somehow, this chick anticipated that this guy was going to somehow do this bait and switch and like take this tackle box or whatever it was, the makeup box, whatever the hell it was, but she like took half herself, left a note in there like, oh, I thought you would try to steal my jewels at the airport, so I got the other half hidden away beforehand. So, and then he just smiles as he reads the note, and they drive off. So, like, these people got half the jewels, and Karen Black flies off with the other half of the jewels and live happily ever after. So, and that's really about it. So, those are my thoughts on Killer Fish. Have you seen this Italian piranha kind of inspired movie? I don't want to say ripoff, because like I said, it doesn't play out the same way. But what are your thoughts on it? Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, remember, it's just an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.